Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 12 of Fantasy Film Fights, the show where we take a random film topic and we draft it fantasy style. As always, to my left is my co-host, Tony. Tony, you're playing along today.
I know. I actually get allowed to this time.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while since you've been the one playing along with us.
I know. I've actually had to watch movies for this for once, so I've learned. I've studied. So my first pick are all going to be things on feet because that's a mode of transportation. Screw you guys. Feet.
We shall see how the draft pans out. We have a great group of panelists with us today. Over here to my right, we've got Brian returning with us. Brian, how are you today?
I'm doing good, and Tony's lying. It won't be all feet because he's going to pick the car from Punch Drunk Love as his first draft.
Why ruin it for me?
Remains to be seen. Down here in the corner, we've got Dan Skip Allen joining us for the first time. Dan, how are you today, pal?
I am fantastic. When I heard this topic a couple weeks ago, Peggy, you and I were talking on one of my shows. I said I got to be on that, and I'm here. So I'm gonna try to do the best I can because this is a great topic.
Yep, I think it should be a fun one today. Directly below me, we've got another rookie showing up on the panel. We've got Ryan. Ryan, how are you today, bud?
I'm doing all right. Nice to actually be doing something that's not necessarily competitive. It's a nice change of pace. And funny that we're talking about a topic where, we can go anywhere with anything. And right now, we can't go nowhere with nothing.
Oh,
perfect timing.
Did we not tell you this was competitive? If you lose this, if the court of opinion just votes you last, we end up frying you out of a cannon. Yeah, you didn't read the contract well, I gather.
Don't listen to him, Ryan. Last but certainly not least, joining us once again, Dave over here in this corner. Dave, how are you today?
I'm really good. Probably the person with the worst sound coming out of his computer in the history of live streaming anywhere. But hopefully you can catch what's going on. But actually, Michael, Ryan, sorry, you're wrong. It's not going to be the one for Punch and Love. He's going Ecto 1 as his first pick. I'm calling it now.
We'll see. Giving away answers, people. All right, let's get this show on the road. Tony, explain to us how we set the draft order.
No.
Okay,
I've never paid attention to this shit.
Well, then I will explain it. You just sit there and look through it. I'm going to give you guys a question with a numeric answer to it. Closest to getting that correct number will have the honors of setting the draft order. Today, I have decided that the question is, in the movie, The Blues Brothers, the 1980 version of The Blues Brothers, how many cars were destroyed on that movie set?
Oh.
There were a few. A few cop cars got crushed on that. How
Just
many?
within the movie or in the whole of production?
In the whole of production is what I believe the article I found gave. So we're just looking based on the article from 2016 that I found.
That's including the 70 cars that Jim Belushi just destroyed for fun. Just driving them into swimming pools.
All right. Everyone got a number in mind? Okay, we'll start with Brian over in the corner.
I'm going way too high, 136.
136. Dan, what are you thinking?
Well, I went higher, 200.
200. Brian?
I guess I'm taking the conservative route and going 125.
125. Dave?
I've gone real low. I've got 105.
105. And Tony?
So, I'm going to change my idea because what I had down is way lower than everyone else. So I'm going to flip my board over and do 61.
Well, tell you what, one of you guys came within one car. And that winner is Dave. The number was 105.
Wow.
Damn close, Dave. But it is on you, boy, to decide who drafts first, who goes last. All up to you, pal. What would you like it to be? Remember, it's Tony drafting tonight.
So I get to choose the order for everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Don't let it go through too much.
Oh, God. Well, if we're going to get that close to it, I really should go first myself, so I will.
Okay.
Then, because he's a Brit, Tony can go last.
Nice misdirection there.
We'll go. Brian can go second. Dan third. Ryan fourth. Tony 5. Yeah, there we go.
All right. So
Just about-
almost.
Just went round that way after that.
All right.
Just to check, let me pull this up. So we are doing it. So it's going to be yourself, Dave first, then Brian,
Yep.
then Dan, then Ryan, then me. But Tony's not going to talk about himself in the third person anymore. He's had issues with that in the past.
All right, might as well kick it off. Not Tony. Dave. Excuse me. Dave, you are officially on the clock with the first pick of the fantasy film draft for movie modes of transportation. What is your number one overall pick?
Okay, now this is throwing my list completely out the window now because I never expected to be first. So I never expected this vehicle to be available for my pick. So my number one pick is it's the most iconic tied into a movie vehicle around. It's Back to the Future's DeLorean. Without a doubt, it's most possibly the only vehicle that is so tied into a film that it speeds the narrative along. It is the narrative. It's the whole point about it. It's a DeLorean. It's a crappy car. Let's be honest.
Like that sound scooped it up. You know, you had to put a better engine in there.
It's a crappy car, but for movie transportation, you can't go wrong with that. Apart from when whoever it is spells it on the ticker tape.
So Doc Brown's DeLorean is the first one off the board. Tony's got props for this one.
I know. I'm gonna Google it in a second.
Now, question: is the original or the flying one?
Oh no, it's the original. It's the original, the one with the nuclear waste power in it.
That's the flying one.
That's
No. At the end,
the original Antonio.
make it fly.
Come on. DeLorean. He's got the DeLorean. Come on. Make your pick, Brian.
Yeah, I'm assuming everyone said that.
This is 100% going to be my first pick. I've loved Back to the Future, Fiery Passion, and that is the best car in the history of cinema.
Fair take. I'll try asking for a third time. I'm assuming everybody else had this one on their list at some place.
Yes.
Yeah. Assuming high up there.
I didn't have it on my list because
There were three cars that I know weren't going to make, or three vehicles I knew weren't going to make it past the first round. So it's a matter of which ones I didn't get. So thanks, Dave, for helping narrow down my decision.
So
and guess what? Brian, we turn to you. You're up. What are you taking?
I got to go with a vehicle that I think is even more iconic, although it is not a car. And that is a Corellian YT 1300F light freighter, the Millennium Falcon. You got to go with that. It's the fastest ship in the galaxy. It's got smuggling compartments. It's got its own Dejaric hollow chessboard, and plus it just looks damn cool.
Millennium Falcon ran the Castle Run and how much?
Less than 12 parsecs.
Because
I figured you would know that one. That would have been my number one pick on the draft. But the DeLorean would have been up there as well.
I thought Dave was going to pick
can't go along with either of those picks.
I thought Dave was going to pick it.
same.
I started writing it when he started talking. Oh, wait, the DeLorean.
I'm like, what?
I would have taken the DeLorean. It's a matter of which one I took.
Falcon didn't make my list.
I see what you're saying.
Falcon didn't make your list.
Falcon didn't make my list.
What?
Wasn't on
What have
mine.
you done with the real Dave?
Mm.
Yeah, Dave.
Wow, crazy. Well, I am very much looking forward to see what did make your list, Dave, but you've got a few picks to wait. We're moving over to Dan with his first pick. What you got?
Oh God, I guess since Brian took the Millennium Falcon, I'm going to go with the from Star Trek Generations, the USS Enterprise 1701. Is it D?
D, yeah.
D. USS Enterprise 1701D from Star Trek Generations. Insurrection. What was the one with the Borg?
First Contact.
First Contact and
Nemesis.
Those 4 movies.
All right.
I love Star Trek Next Generation. Of all the Star Trek, I know Scott Mantz will probably reach through the screen and choke me. But I grew up on Next Generation with Jean-Luc Picard, Helmut, Engage. I had to pick it. If Millennium Falcon wasn't there, I had to go with the USS Enterprise.
It's pretty iconic. And you got to go to the Next Generation one because now we get the holodecks and all the, all the extra stuff. So.
Guinan, we had Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg. What a great cast. I love the cast in Next Generation.
What had the cooler the equipment? Was it Star Wars or Star Trek?
What?
What had the cooler equipment? What had the cooler stuff?
I mean, Star Wars has cool stuff, but Star Trek created the cell phone. It created the holodeck, which you can do crazy stuff on the internet now with dream sequences and all kinds of. Star Trek created stuff that we're actually using today. In my opinion, I think Star Trek had the better stuff.
Star Trek is science fiction. Star Wars is fantasy.
Yeah,
I will never try and say that Star Wars is sci-fi. It's not. There's no science in Star Wars. It's magic. It's nonsense. It's fantasy. Star Trek, yes, it's science fiction.
The day we get real lightsabers, forget about it. Right, Brian? I mean, Jesus.
If we get that, there's a lot of dead people.
Yeah, I know. There'll be a lot of dead people. I was just thinking the same exact thing.
All right, so USS Enterprise is off the board. We move over to Ryan with his first overall pick. Ryan, what are you thinking?
Well, thankfully, I don't think any of the choices I have are going to be on any of these other lists because I knew the more popular stuff was going to get picked. So I went with my heart. I went with something that definitely spoke to my childhood, spoke to watching movies with my sister. And if you're going to go ahead and have a car, you got to have a little bit of style to it, something that's very noticeable from a distance. That's right. I'm going with the 1976 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am Mad Black Special from Smokey and the Bandit.
Good job. Good job, Ryan. I had it on my list of potentials, but
you can't say that you don't see that little eagle on the front, the T-top showing, a man in a black hat going down the road. Smokey's driving all over the place, getting befuddled by the way the man Bandit goes down that road, just gets on there and gets rolled in there. It's just a fun car to have. It's stylish. It's speed. It's everything you'd want in an automobile without necessarily having anything ridiculous involved in it.
Great car. Iconic car.
I watched this movie explicitly so I could pick this, and so I didn't feel like trolled. I fucking hate you.
I am surprised. I figured more sci-fi, more James Bond, Aston Martin stuff. I wasn't thinking anyone else would have it, so I apologize, but nah.
I've seen the small clips of this so often, and just it's such a badass
Pontiac Trans Am. Whoever wrote that down, it's Pontiac Trans Am.
The Bandit. I mean, there's enough people that call it the Bandit car. I mean, there was even a TV series that was kind of like a semi-sequel series to the Smokey and the Bandit movies, and it was just titled Bandit. And
actually,
it had the same car. So it's like, might as well.
Pretty much.
But no, they gotta go specific.
I lost a match on that. You know that, Ryan?
Really?
It just freaking I've seen that movie so many times. I saw it when I was a little kid. I love it so much, and it just went right out of my brain. And I could not. I said Cannonball Run instead.
That is a cardinal Burt Reynolds sin.
I know, man. I still kick myself to this day about that.
By the way, if somebody did take Bandit, my next guess was going to be the ambulance from Cannonball Run.
Okay, you would have been safe there.
It's okay. It wasn't on my list. I'm just saying if it was ever picked.
I don't even have it on my list, and you don't know how many I have on my list.
Exactly. Stop giving them ideas, Ryan, but don't worry about it. All right, over to Tony to round out round one.
Finally, Tony.
The end of my pick. Okay, I think I'm going to have to go with this because I have to save it from Dave. It's the most classic car from the greatest series film of all time. It's the one that epitomizes the legacy, the history of James Bond. It gets brought back in such an amazing way in Skyfall. It's the Aston Martin DB5 Goldfinger, Skyfall.
Man,
It's the car.
wow, I didn't think it would go that fast. Wow.
Yeah, it's my number 2 pick gone.
That was my number 3.
Didn't have it.
Like
Good pick,
Bond,
Tony, good
there's so many good cars in Bond, but there's no that one. Even though it's like the second or third film they appeared in, it still stands the test of time. And just like, oh yeah, that's the car everyone thinks of.
Absolutely.
Even if it
And
doesn't
it's in
turn invisible.
Thunderball. It's in
It
Thunderball too, when he uses it both in Goldfinger and Thunderball. I'm going through all the Bond films, and I just watched. I'm like, oh, I gotta pick that. Bam, good choice, Tony.
All right, so
Aston Martin.
James Bond Aston Martin closes out round 1. Give us a recap, if you would, pal.
Yeah.
My dog is trying to.
All right. So let me quickly finish putting mine in. This is where you should stall a little bit longer, but well, we'll learn it one day. We'll learn to be good hosts. All right. So Dave went first overall, and he went with the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Brian went second with the Millennium Falcon from a little series called Star Wars. Dan went third. He went the USS Enterprise from Star Trek to Next Generation films. Ryan went with the Pontiac, aka the Bandit from Smokey and the Bandit. And I went with the Aston Martin DB5 from James Bond. Don't know why. Let me change that.
That's a pretty damn good round 1, if I do say so myself. Let's see if we can keep it going. Your second pick, Tony.
All right, my second pick. There's ones that I want to do, but I know that they're going to be safe because you're all old.
I'd like to take that.
It's going to be a while before we get back to you, so make sure it's something you love.
I'm just looking at me list. You know what? I'm going to go with something off the beaten track because I'm not going to go for a vehicle. I'm going to go for a creature that turns into a vehicle. My Neighbor Totoro Catbus, the actual hero of My Neighbor Totoro.
Okay.
Now where the
Man, you had me worried there, Tony.
It's such a fantastic anime film, and also as well, fuck Totoro. If I have a platform, I will always and forever do that. Totoro is an absolute asshole. He stays on his arse and sleeps all the time. When the little kid's missing, it's Catbus that goes to save him. Catbus is the hero. Totoro deserves to die in a fire. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I have not seen this movie, so I cannot comment at all on this pick. Anybody have this on their list?
No.
Nothing from Ghibli will ever be on the list, I mean.
My shoulders. I just realized I reached too far.
Ryan. Come on, Ryan.
All right. Well,
Ryan, your turn. Round 2.
considering Tony went ahead and did his instantaneous anime thing, I suppose I should probably use mine as well. So just to get this out of the board, my one minimum, it's going to be an instantaneous form of travel, possibly the most powerful instantaneous form of travel that there is. And I should preface that, yes, this was used in movies, so it does count. I am specifically talking about Kai Kai, otherwise known as their teleportation method of the Dragon Ball Z franchise, which has shown up in the movies, including the first Dragon Ball Z movie, Dead Zone, or Dragon Ball Z, the movie I was originally titled. Essentially, it is a form of teleportation, but it's anywhere. It's not just within your sight. It's not just because you feel someone's ki, because you feel their energy. You want to go to the other side of the planet. You want to go right next to somebody. You want to go into a different dimension. You want to go to a different planet. You want to go to a different universe. Kai Kai is the way to do it. And it is a taught method, so anybody can learn it, just like driving a car.
Wow. See, I'm not familiar with Dragon Ball Z, so I know none of which you speak.
Well, that's the thing. When it comes to Dragon Ball Z, it's all about like quick movements. So, I mean, there's other forms of teleportation and instant transfer, but that's definitely the most heavily used, I would say.
Just out of curiosity, does anyone would have had that even in their top 50?
I got 50,000. I don't think I got it that far.
Yeah.
To be brutally honest with you.
I remember loving Dragon Ball Z, but Ryan, you could have looked up for like your 5th round pick and just gone and just picked everything else. Just like, hey, by the way, I'm having this awesome thing from Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, Punch Drunk, keep talking.
Well, no, since we only had like the one maximum of it, I wanted to just go over it, get out of the way before we actually got into any of them.
That's fine.
But
I've never seen Dragon Ball Z in my life, so
Brian.
All this love from My Neighbor Totoro, but no one says Streamy Z. Ouch.
I haven't seen My Neighbor Totoro either.
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. So
It's my turn. My turn.
man.
Wait, I'm gonna leave you a good one, Brian. I'm gonna leave you a good one because I'm picking a good one. I'm picking a vehicle that is 2 vehicles in one. 2 vehicles in one. From a little movie called The Dark Knight.
Yep.
Namely the Tumbler, otherwise known as the Batmobile. And what does it turn into? The Bat Cycle as well. That is my favorite comic book movie of all time, with the greatest vehicle from any comic book movie of all time, in my opinion. So I'm picking the Tumbler. I am so happy that the Tumbler is sitting there at my number 2.
all right.
Technically, it's not a Bat Cycle, it's a Bat Pod.
Bat Pod, Bat Cycle, whatever. Two vehicles in one.
they also don't call it the Batmobile, but
Yeah, it is
you
the
know what
most
he's talking about.
badass of all the Batmobile incarnations. I will grant you that, at least in my opinion. So,
And I'm
excellent
leaving you a
choice.
good one, Brian. I hope you take advantage of this. I'm leaving you a good one, Brian. Hope you take advantage of it.
Like, what the Nolan trilogy are my favorite of the Batman trilogies, but the casts are kind of boring, just in the sense that they're meant to be practical and they're meant to actually be like, oh yeah, if Batman was a real
That's what's
person, he would use
awesome
this. But it's like you're there, just like, yeah, but the other ones are a bit cooler, aren't they? Just like they're a bit more fun.
Well,
Like,
I don't care. I think the Tumbler is the best.
fair.
Not a problem. Brian, your second overall pick.
Let's see if he takes it.
All right.
Let's see if he takes it. Come on, Brian.
All right. I'm going to pick at least one of my wheeled vehicles I need to use. This is one that didn't start out as much. I mean, it needed some suspension work, some shocks, some brakes, some brake pads, steering box, transmission, rear end, new rings, mufflers, little wiring. But once they got that all fixed, tricked it out, you got yourself the Ecto 1. The Ecto 1.
Yeah, I knew it.
I mean, anybody who knows me knows I love Ghostbusters. Tony loves Ghostbusters even more than I do, but I'm going to take that pick from him so he can't have it.
Right.
And I mean, come on, you got a place to put your proton packs. You got the siren, you can pass through all the traffic. What do you want? The Exomobile.
I left it there for you to pick, Brian. I
Yes,
could
you
pick
did.
it if I wanted to, but I said, no, I'm taking the one I
I'm
like the
guessing-
most. I loved Ecto 1. Oh, that's a great, iconic movie car.
I'm guessing we're talking about the hearse from.
It's a converted hearse, right?
It's a Cadillac chassis that's used for both hearses and some kind of ambulances. I was actually looking that up earlier.
Either
But
way,
yeah.
dead people are in it at one point or another.
When they got it was black, so it's essentially a hearse. Yeah.
And I guess we're talking about the greatest Ghostbusters film of the 2016 Paul Feig
I'm going to
one.
run and get something to
They
drink.
didn't make one in the 2010, did they?
I'll be gone in 5 seconds, guys.
No,
Yeah,
there's
they
only
made-
2 Ghostbusters films.
And they made the greatest one with Kate McKinnon.
I don't remember that. Doesn't exist.
Fair.
All right, Ecto 1 off the board. Back to Dave to round out round 2.
Okay, so I've got back-to-back picks now. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But just
Cool.
one, we're going to repeat for that.
They've got 2
Okay.
good
Then.
ones.
So, in a decade that epitomised cool, that put Britishness and Britain at the vanguard of what is the very best and the hippest, and pretty much define what is cool. These cars and this car put the ooh in cool. It's a 1967 Mini Cooper from the 1969 Italian Job.
I hate you.
I know.
Good
I know,
choice.
it's fine. I can live with that. This is a car that weighed a quarter of what the world's weight lift is, and put a 1.3 litre engine in it. It went like, I don't know. Are we swearing in this? It went very fast. It hugged the rails. they didn't, when making this film for the Italian Job, they didn't have to do too much to make it rigid for it because it's already a race car. It already had the chassis and everything was already there, ready to go. And I mean, it was my first car was one of these minis. Oh my God, that car took some grief from me and it kept going. It is still one of the coolest looking cars ever built.
And popular once the remake of it came out, they banned freaking Mini Coopers went through the roof again after that.
Yeah, but they're not Mini Coopers, they're BMWs.
Yeah, they're just BMWs pretending. Like the Mini Cooper are just like the little death trap where your ass is literally 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah. They had to do a whole lot of souping up to the Mini Coopers before they even attempted that job in the sequel or the remake of the Italian Job. Those don't come the way the old ones were. That closes up round 2. Recap it up for us, Tony.
Yep, let's bring it up. Okay, so I went first. This one, I went Kappas from My Neighbor Totoro. Ryan went with the Kai from Dragon Ball Z. We'll find out what his pick is next time.
Oh, that was great.
Dan's second pick was the Tumbler from The Dark Knight. Brian went with the Ecto one from some shitty comedy from the 80s. And Dave went with the Mini Cooper from the 60s, an Italian Job. Self-Preservation Society and all that shit.
All right, not the way I thought round 2 was going to go. Still a lot of iconic forms of transportation on the board. With that being said, we're back to Dave with his third overall pick.
Okay, now I am loving Ryan, and every time you've got your car, you've got a nice little bit of intro to it, like music coming through your phone. I don't need this. You all know the song. You all know the dance. Okay? This car is automatic. It's systematic. It's hydromatic. It's grease lightning.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I know the rest of it. I'm not going through it. I don't sing. I very rarely dance. But yeah, that's the one. This is from my favorite musical of all time. This dance, it's, I mean, I don't know what it's like over in America, but any elderly relative's birthday or anything like this, if there's any kind of disco or party going on, this song plays and everyone's on there and everyone's dancing. It's a grease mega mix through it all. But the 1949 Ford Deluxe convertible tricked out to look absolutely amazing. There we go.
Grease lightning off the board. That was on my little hypothetical list. Anybody else have that one?
No.
Yes, no.
I had it, but it was a little bit down. It's
I forget. Did that car win the race or lose the race? I forget which one it was.
It won.
It won. It definitely won. All right.
The new one got flooded in the smallest amount of water ever.
All right. Grease lightning off the board. Over to Brian.
Come on, Brian. Don't do it to me.
I'm going to say I like this panel because nobody's picks overlap with mine at all. So this works out real nicely for me.
Don't do it to me, Brian. Don't do it to me.
I'm going to get my one instantaneous one out of the way. And this is one that can go.
Millennium Falcon.
Huh? That's not instantaneous.
That's Warp Drive. That's Warp Drive.
Instantaneous.
That's instantaneous travel. Warp Drive.
You're still having to travel.
It's hard to
constantly in warp.
It's travel, but it still takes time to get there. We're talking
Hey,
instantaneous.
Enterprise can beam people down. That didn't count for your instantaneous one either.
Oh, I did. I counted the Enterprise as mine.
Okay, well.
Well, you can. I was the holodeck.
No, I don't mean to cause a problem. I thought the Millennium Falcon was your instantaneous travel.
No, because it doesn't go from A to B in like a split second. It's travel. It actually,
It's not instantaneous. It still takes time, even during warp speed.
Yeah.
Or not.
I'm
very
sorry.
fast.
I guess I was confused by that. I apologize. I thought that was clear.
So anyway, for mine, you don't need a teleporter on the end to wait for you. You don't need line of sight to get there. You can go anywhere in the universe, take as many people as you want. You can take whole armies with you in one. That's this little bad boy right here. The Infinity Gauntlet. Specifically, the Space Stone right here, boys. The middle finger, just for you.
I call BS. I call BS on that. I call BS.
So, I mean, with that thing, I can go anywhere, do anything I want, with as many people as I want. It's instantaneous. What else do you need to know? It's the perfect travel.
Genius pick.
Creativity. Love it.
I mean, provided you can hold it, yes, but
I call BS on that.
At no point do we say it has to be a
Whatever you want,
vehicle. It's just transportation.
Yeah, transport take you from A to B.
yeah, I mean, if the stone's out, then my Kai-Kai's out because you don't even need anything for that. It's just yourself.
So a few people
You may have
like
just
that
on
idea.
Facebook go with that choice. I'm thinking,
He was inevitable. Yes.
I completely forgot that the Infinity Gauntlet had that ability. I'm annoyed with myself. I should have done that. Ah.
Because really, the only one that uses it is like what Thanos. Everyone else comes in on the ship.
Yeah, he just
yeah, he's kind of a dick to his troop. Rains
Well,
fire
I
on
mean, in the final battle, he brought everybody into the Space Stone.
Mm.
Those
yeah,
whole
his-
armies of people. Yeah.
Well, no, wait. Did he use the space stone or did he use the pin particles to bring everyone over?
Pim particles. He wasn't using pim particles. That was Avengers are using that.
No, they used the pin particles and open up the time warp so this way it could come through. Trust me, I've been watching Endgame ever since they posted on Facebook about, I remember when we all were watching this last year. Trust me, I've seen it enough times.
Yeah, it's the pin particles in Endgame, but he uses the space stone in Infinity War to move from Thor's ship back to his own spaceship. He uses the space.
Getting all the way back to his own planet, wherever he wants to go, anywhere.
he uses the pin particles in Endgame according to Ryan Payne. But what does Ryan know about MCU? What does Ryan know about the MCU?
He has to resort to taking his children's toys.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, let's be
That's
blunt.
not my kid's toy. That's my toy.
I'm joking.
That's
I knew it was yours, Brian. I knew it was yours. I was just messing with you.
Dan, you're up. Third round pick.
God. After that one, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? How about robots in disguise? Transformers! Optimus Prime turns into an 18-wheel truck.
Jesus.
Excellent pick. This was on my hypothetical list as well.
Optimus Prime!
Anyone else have Optimus Prime on their list?
Nope.
No.
Really?
Although I would have to ask, why Prime and not one of the more practical looking cars? I mean, the big old truck you probably noticed.
18-wheeler truck. It ain't practical.
Exactly, it's a gas guzzler, man. You know, it's bad for the environment.
Oh, I know what you mean. I had two choices. I went with Optimus Prime because he's the most iconic Transformer that turns into a car.
Yeah, because he tells you his name like 5 times in a movie. I am Optimus.
Roll out!
That's his whole dialogue.
Roll out! I love that. Don't you love that, Peter? What's the guy's name? Peter
Cullen.
Colin. Roll out, Autobots. I love it.
All right. Optimus Prime off the board. Ryan, your third overall pick. What you got lined up?
Which one to go with? All right. I guess I can kind of go with this, considering Brian kind of set the stage with the whole, Endgame thing. So I figure if there's going to be something that's going to be other than a car or instant transmission or anything like that, you're going to need something for the rest of the planet, like something for the water, like something for the air. Like something that's possibly the most devastating war machine ever created. And no, I'm not talking about War Machine. I'm talking about the goddamn helicarrier from the Avengers movies.
Oh, good one.
Because that thing is just a massive fortress as well as a means of transport. Whether it's the cloaking that you use in the sky or just the simple fact that it's a huge-ass boat that no one wants to screw with. Plus, all the technology, all the little pods in that ship that you can use to your advantage, it is just a fun way to travel the rest of the planet.
All right. Helicarrier from. All right. Anyone else have that one that they were looking to nab in the later round?
There was a good choice that was going to get picked by me if it wasn't by somebody else. So.
I had a couple other vehicles in the Avengers that
But at the same time, though, I wasn't sure I wanted 2 from the same franchise. So I'm like,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, technically, yeah, it would be, but you could say one was from one movie specific, one was from another.
Well, there's no rule against it. I wanted to spread mine out a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
You could have gone all Star Wars, although I would have frowned upon you guys done so. But all right. So the helicarrier off the board. Over to Tony to round out round 3.
After me, I was just double checking because I had an idea, but sadly the TARDIS does not appear in the Lego Batman movie, so I can't pick that. I can't slide that in. So what I'm going to do instead is go for the knockoff American equivalent of the TARDIS. From the TARDIS is a police phone box from the UK, whereas the American version is a knockoff phone box. So from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, the phone box.
Yes.
I knew he was going to go there.
I didn't even think of this, but I appreciate the creativity with it. I dig it.
Instantaneous, you can travel anywhere in the world. Like if you need to make a direct call, you sorted. It proves that you can fit a ton of people in, because it fits like 15 people in at once. It doesn't get bigger on the inside like the British version, but it still somehow manages.
And it can be fixed with bubble gum and canned tuna.
Right?
Yeah. And Malcolm, it's a police box, but why it does, it has a telephone inside of it, so it's a phone box. So screw you.
In a loose sense.
And also I get to steal a thing from a member of Wild Stallions, so that's always fun.
Unless we're actually talking about time travel, I mean, sure, I guess it can transfer you to 2020 Greece and 2020 America, but why not?
It could also send you
from A to
up to
B.
Waterloo if you needed it to.
No, it qualifies. That's just saying that's why I didn't pick it.
It's not the most convenient of travel, granted, and if you lose the phone book, then you kind of fucked.
And obviously it's idiot proof if Bill and Ted can use it, so really anybody can.
So that's exactly why I can use it.
So Bill and Ted's phone booth rounds out round 3. Time for the recap, Tony.
All right, so the recap, let's pull this up. So Dave went first, he went Grease Lightning from Grease. Go Grease Lightning. And no more, because I don't want to get sued. Brian went with the Space Stone from the MCU. Dan went with Optimus Prime from Transformers. Ryan went with the Helicarrier from MCU. And I went with the phone box from Bill and Ted.
And you're already getting your copyright strikes thanks to Ryan anyway, so.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to have to go in and edit.
How? Less than 10 seconds.
It's fine. It's not any German tag, so we're fine. We don't get taken down for anything but that.
Okay, 2 more rounds to go. Tony, kick off round 4 before you get the final pick of the draft.
Right. All right, I'm going to be stupid. So I have one that I'm picking for very personal reasons. There's one that I think only Dave would know about. But I'm going to pick this one now because I want to test to see whether or not the other one would last to the very end. So when Dave was talking about Cool Britannia and all that stuff, there's like, the Mini Coopers from the Italian shop are cool and they're great. But there's one thing that's better.
Don't you dare.
Why, what are you thinking?
I'm really hoping.
No, I don't, because if it's not, I'm not going to tip my hand.
Brit fight.
Go on.
From the singer of the greatest Blur song of all time, Mark Clive, from 1979's Quadrophenia. This is a movie that is fantastic. People should go watch it. It's about mods and rockers in the 60s. The moped that the lead character Jimmy Cooper drives. It's the most, if you are into anything to do with mod culture, it's the perfect, like the pinnacle of modness. Mm-hmm. People go watch Quadrophenia. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so I have no point of reference.
And I could have done that as my final pick, but I just wanted to see whether or not the one that I was going to pick lasts to the end. Made this a bit more interesting.
A little strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. Did anybody else have this moped in their list? All right. So with that, moving on. Ryan, your 4th pick.
Okay. I guess I should probably go with like my second car, my minimum, so this way I have it all in. And going a little Disney with this one, simply because if you're going to have a car, you want something that's reliable, that can shut everybody down, and could possibly also help you with your love life. I'm talking the 1963 Volkswagen Beetle Model 117 Deluxe Sunroof Sedan, otherwise known as Herbie.
The love bug.
Herbie is just a lovable little character and possibly the fastest car that you'll ever see in most any franchise. If it can go ahead and take on race cars on its own, then certainly it can get you where you need to be faster than you need to be there. Not to mention, if you need help with your love life, he is your best possible wingman. You go on a date, he has got you hooked up. All right, he will do everything. Look, Transformers being what they are, you know, they can't do anything without really transforming. All right, this guy is all car all the time and does everything. Plus, he's practically indestructible. The damn thing has been cut in half, thrown off of boats. He wrestled a bull. He has done it all, and is still
He survived the pairing with Lindsay Lohan.
All right, that is enough to tell you that this car is one tough little Volkswagen bug of a Beetle.
All right. I did not even think about this one, but I appreciate it. It's a good pick. Anybody else looking at Herbie for their list? No? Wow.
I was going to go for it for like a 5th round if I didn't go for too much British stuff.
I think it's a clever pick. You sold it well. So that's off to you. Herbie.
Well, if I'm talking cars, I might as well go salesman mode, yes.
So Herbie the Love Bug off the board. We move over to Dan with his 4th and his penultimate pick.
Well, you know, we never said we have to have fast transportation. We could also have slow transportation. And I think in an iconic mode of slow transportation that we've had in movies, and one gentleman is going to be very happy that I picked this, I think, even though him and I aren't necessarily getting along. I'm going to go with the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
You son of a bitch.
Is that what you were waiting on, Tony?
That was the one that I was toying with.
Excellent.
You want to bring up that theme song too, because I love that one.
Now that you mention it, interesting. All right. Black Pearl.
Yeah, it's such a badass sort of like.
Caleb Coho is probably clapping in Minnesota right now.
It could be. That's true. All right. Black Pearl off the board. Brian, your penultimate pick.
All right. What to go with next? I got a spaceship. I got a car. I got instantaneous travel. I'm going to go with something that can not only be my mode of transportation, but why not have it also be my best friend? I'm going to go with Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Why not have your best friend, somebody you love, who loves you, who will fiercely protect you, and as well as can fly you anywhere you want to go? How can you get any better than that?
You genius. You.
I love it. I love the creativity of that one. Nicely done, Brian.
Very clever. Very clever.
Tony's so mad right now. You can see it on his face.
So angry.
And with that, now we have Nico cheering for us too.
Yeah, you just made Nico your best friend right there.
Yeah.
Brian. I made Coho happy. You made Nico happy.
Sweet. That was
Brian is in my brain.
Yeah, that's smart.
Then we go over to Dave to round out round 4.
Okay. Now back to back, so make no odds which way this goes. I always like to, on something like this, have an animated on there, just because. And now I'm torn between two, though. Both have actually got suggested by my wife, as I was talking about on this earlier on.
Oh, you got your pick
Take credit for either of these. I'm going to go with, just because my eldest likes it and I really love this film as well. It's from Cars. It's Mater.
Oh, okay.
in the world.
You know.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Nothing wrong with that pick.
Yeah.
That was nice. Making a
Yeah, it is. I love the film. The film is such a heartwarming film itself. We'll forget about the sequels, but the Cars itself was. My eldest boy went through a DVD, worn it out. We had to buy a second one because he watched it that much.
Wow.
And yeah, he just stuck with me.
Third one's not bad, Dave.
This is where I thought Ryan was going when he said he was going to go with something Disney. So, but then I
Oh
realized,
God, no. I went country enough with the Bandit car. I'm not going full Mater too.
It's the thing with Mater though. If you actually want to ride in Mater, like, aren't you driving in his brain? Like, they've never actually explained how that works.
First of all,
like,
Mater ain't got one, so that's
True,
fine.
Yeah.
it's a small one.
Hey, if John Cusack can be in John Malkovich's head, you can be inside Mater's.
Because
But
there'll be a
he's
Disney ride at
total,
some
so he's
point where you
towing
can
you.
do that.
True. Yeah, you can just tow you, just drag you
He
along.
just tow you. You don't need to be in him to be transported by him.
You just sit in a bin can and just tie
I
him
want
up.
somebody to pick Martin Short because Dennis Quaid wrote inside Mater Space. Do it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's go to a recap before we go to the final round. So I was first up, and I went with Jimmy Moseped from Quadrophenia. Watch it, people. It's great. Brian went with Herbie the Love Bug. Dan went with the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean. Brian went with Toothless from How to Train Your Dragons. And Dave went with Mater from Cars.
all right, we have reached the 5th and final episode, but we've been burning through these topics hella fast. So what we've done in the past, if you guys want, we can go extra rounds, but let's act as if you're not going to be going extra rounds. So make sure that this next pick completes your list. Make sure it makes it nice and solid. With that said, Dave, your 5th and final pick.
Okay, my 5th and final pick. This is the greatest movie transportation. So you want an iconic piece of transportation, and you can't get more iconic than one that literally forms the logo from one of the greatest directors ever working's production company.
Oh, you.
You've got John Williams' soaring score as Elliot and E.T. have that little BMX floating to be captured perfectly in the fullest moon ever caught on cinema.
Good one.
It's Elliot's BMX.
Great one, Dave. Great pick.
But that's
And
Elliot
I
BMX
can't take credit for that one.
ET
That
in,
one's
right?
come from my eldest boy.
In the basket in the front, right?
You have
Yeah,
your
because if he's not in the basket, that bike's just a bike.
Yeah. If you
I
thought,
can't
if you
take
thought,
credit.
kidnap
This one's
poor
my
little
eldest boy.
alien.
He thinks
Hey, you know something, Dave? I actually had a subsection of my list of bicycles. That's how deep I went with this.
nice.
No,
Just
no.
pointing out there, that's all 5 have been wheeled. All 5 have been wheeled. I didn't go into space. I didn't need to like click my fingers or anything. It's all proper mode of transportation.
How's that Corals Light treating you, Dave?
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, so Dave completed his team with EP sitting in the front basket of BMX bike with Elliot. That brings us to Brian to complete his roster. Brian.
All right. Well, my last one has to be wheelbase, so I can make my minimum. I do like to have a lot of variety.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little everything. I got animals, I got spaceships, I got cars, I got
Rocks.
magic. I need something that's just intimidating and big and kick-ass, though. And so for that, I'm going to go with a 78-foot-long truck known as the War Rig from Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
I mean, this thing is packed to the gills with firearms. It's got the cow catchers. You can just knock all the other cars out of your way on the road or off-road, wherever you're going. It's got its own tank. It's got everything you need. So I'm taking the War Rig.
Nice pick.
I actually thought about that, Brian. I wasn't going to go with it, but I was like, I bet somebody picks the War Rig.
I
I
would
had
go
it
with
back
it,
in my
but
mind.
all that twisted metal, I'm afraid I'm going to get like tetanus just trying to get into the damn thing. So.
Yeah. Also having to pay for the guy to play the guitar as well. It's a bit of a nightmare.
Oh, see, I wish it came with the do for it, but
Yeah. You have to put insurance on him as well. It's a bit of a nightmare.
Okay. War Rig rounds out Brian's team. Dan, what you got locked and loaded for your final pick?
All right, guys. When you're talking about cars and you're talking about people driving those cars, you got to get the coolest car with the coolest driver. How about a guy by the name of Steve McQueen driving a car, Ford Mustang 390 Fastback? What was Steve McQueen's name in that movie? Bullet. You got to have Bullet on your list in a Mustang muscle car that beats the doors out of anybody else's car. I got to have a classic like that on my list.
All right, Steve McQueen's Mustang.
Bullet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Really liking the name Bullet there. It's like,
Bullet. Wow, it's a classic movie. I mean, Steve McQueen, man.
It is,
A man's man.
However, if you're thinking of McQueen and vehicles, one
Yeah,
springs to mind a little
One
more
springs to
prominent. And I think I know what my fifth pick is now. Thank you.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Ryan, if you take it, you're banned.
No. I've got my pick.
Yeah. Speaking of, fire away, Ryan. Your fifth and final pick.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't noticed, there's actually been a little bit of a theme to all the ones I've been doing. Not only have I been traveling, land, sea, air, all that stuff, but I've also been choosing something from every decade. 60s was Herbie, 70s was the Firebird, 90s was technically Dragon Ball Z because that's when it had its popularity, and obviously the 2000s was the Helicarrier. So what's going to be my 80s pick? I'm kind of in the mindset of Brian there, where, if you're going to have like a personal mode of transportation, at some point you got to have a dragon. The dragon's fun. The dragon can be, all kinds of adventure, but I don't want the necessary worry about the fire breathing. I don't want the necessary worry of the scales or the claws or anything too vicious. I want a good dragon. I want a dragon that's friendly, that's helpful. I want a luck dragon. So I'm picking goddamn Falcor from the Never-Ending Story franchise.
Good job.
Movie 1 and 2, not so much movie 3, because he looked like ass in that. But he is certainly the wisest companion you could possibly have. And if you need to fall asleep on those long travels, which of course travels through dimensions between Fantasia and the real world, his fur is so goddamn comfortable, better than any scales I'd rather sleep on. So yeah, give me a luck dragon, man. Oh wait, hold on. I just want to go up to the One Piece since we're already flagged. So
Why am I dancing? I'm gonna get gifts.
if anyone asks, we're just doing stuff about Stranger Things.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent pick with Falcor. I have to say, part 2 is my favorite. Rest in peace, Jonathan Brandis was my childhood crush. But I think that was an excellent pick. Ryan. Anyone else thinking about Falcor? Was that an honorable mention with anybody? Yeah. Looks. I see Dan shaking his head over there. All right. Tony.
Right.
What was the top for round 5?
I was thinking of going that Steve McQueen one, but however, I'm gonna stick with what I had in my mind after the Pirates of the Caribbean got stolen from me. I'm stupid. So I'm gonna stick with the water. And I'm just trying to see whether or not I can actually find the actual name of it, but that isn't what they call it in the movie. Because I want to sound smart and give the full thing, but fuck it, I can't find it. When you need to get a bigger boat, you don't need one. You just get the orca. The orca from Jaws. Just the
Good ship.
like if you just that small boat, but it's just like so much like tension built in it. Just like it's just awesome badness ready to happen.
If a boat can have charisma.
Although one could argue you needed a bigger one.
Probably,
Good one, Ryan.
That is true. All right. So that round
it does the job.
I did the job that was like short got on the thing.
Is Dave's last pick? Dave's the last pick.
No, that Tony was the last.
I was the last pick, so that's everything picked for the round. So we'll go from now quickly. So for the final pit round, Dave went with his first pick for the final round. Elliot's bike, BMX from ET. Also, however, it did get pointed out earlier that technically ET is the mode of transportation.
No, the bike is. ET makes it fly. The bike is the mode of transportation.
Yep, right.
Right, ET is just the power source.
He's like the engine in the car.
ET is a Jedi. ET is a Jedi that makes it float.
Right. And I should also mention it's Falcor with K-O-R. Falco is a whole other 80s thing.
Rock me up with this.
That's what I was thinking of.
I thought I would see a lot.
There you go.
I can't spell. This show is all about bad spelling, okay? Brian was next with the Raw Rig from Mad Max Fury Road. Dan then went with the Mustang from Bullet. Ryan went with Falco from Never Ending Story. I'm just glad I said the word right, I'll be honest. It feels like it would slip up into terrible territory if you say that word wrong. Then I went with the Autumn Doors.
All right. Since we were 55 minutes into this and we've already gotten through all 5 rounds, you guys want to go bonus round?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I could go all night with this. I could go all night with this with my list.
All right. Well, I will leave it to Tony to hopefully get creative with this one, make it a fun one, and take a bonus 6th round pick.
All right, if I'm going for fun, I'm going like Dave chose the wrong song, the wrong musical car. If you go musical cars, you're going bang bang choo 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 bang bang choo choo bang bang we love you. The Best of Van Dyke musical, Sherman Brothers fantastic songs, and also the car flies, and it's a badass looking car as well. I've seen it. They've
Grease Lightning flies.
yeah, in her fever dream while she's dying.
I missed it. What'd you pick?
Choo choo bang bang.
Chitty bang bang.
Ah, okay. Sorry, my dog needed some water.
I mean, how dare it?
Chitty bang bang.
Oh yeah, Malcolm brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Fuck Harry Potter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Stupid Malcolm, what are you saying that for? How do you know people weren't thinking about picking a Harry Potter vehicle? Sorry, Malcolm.
Picking it from the five and very-
Oh, we did
Sorry,
pick it at
Malcolm.
5.
Sorry, Malcolm.
No worries about it. Ryan, you got anything in the bag still?
I do, because I am a little surprised. I'm not going to do music for this one since it's bonus. I'm not going to go ahead and search.
But I don't have to pay any more royalties.
Yes. But I am a little surprised, considering all 5 or 4 lists, all 5 lists. No one picked possibly one of the most iconic cars of our lifetime. And no offense to the Tumbler, but if you're going to pick a Batmobile, you go with the 1989 Smooth as Hell classic from
I thought you
Batman.
were going 60, 69. I'm like, come on, give me a break.
No, don't give me the 69 one, all right? If that thing rains, there's no top over it. At least the 89 one, you had full shielding, you had all the tricks and gadgets, and it didn't look overly flashy or pompous. It was just a nice, smooth ride. You went through those streets like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, good. I had it on my list, man. Good pick.
Yeah, it's
Normally-
the best vehicle from a comic book film.
I wasn't going to pick
Normally,
two.
what would be you take one Batmobile, the other ones are off the board, but since it's bonus time, we're going to let that one slide. So no worries there.
There are multiple Batmobiles. They're all separate. You know?
Yeah.
That's good. But doesn't matter. We're over to you, Dan.
All right,
would you
Malcolm.
like?
You spoke too soon, Malcolm. I had it in my mind the whole time. I've been thinking about this if you went bonus rounds, what I was going to pick, and I am going with the Night Bus from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, who picks up Harry, and it has this weird time thing going on with it, stops and this and that, and does all this weird stuff. But the Night Bus from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
All right.
I thought he was going for one of the brooms.
Yeah, I was going to say, like the flying car or
What, I was going to pick a Nimbus 3000. Come
the
on.
stew.
Why not?
The Night Bus is cool. The Night Bus is cool. Plus, it's a bus.
Yeah, but the damn broom's not going to squish me.
Yeah, well, it's neat. The Night Bus has neat powers. Who wants a Nimbus 3? If you pick a Nimbus 3000, good for you. But
Question, can you use the night bus during the day?
No. Hence the name.
Good point. Good point.
I can keep on my back and use it anytime I want.
Watch Brian's next pick be a Nimbus 3000 or something.
Yeah, there's no danger of me picking anything from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Speaking of, over to you, Brian. What's your bonus pick?
All right, bonus pick. Let's see. Well, I got 4 wheels. I got 18 wheels. Let's go 2. I don't have a cycle on mine. But if I'm going to have some kind of a cycle, I'm going to do it in style. So I'm going to go with the light cycles from Tron and Tron Legacy.
Had it right here, man. I knew someone was going to pick
Because
Tron.
those are just kick-ass, cool-looking. Plus, I can, put walls up and make everybody else crash. So
Yeah.
bonus.
Had right here, my Brian. I knew someone was going to pick Tron motorcycle. Knew it.
That's a dangerous ride, my friend.
I would have picked it next if nobody had picked it. I swear, if we would have had another round, I would have picked it next.
Alrighty, so the light cycles from Tron and closing it out, Dave. What are you taking with your bonus pick?
Oh god. Okay, so closing this out. There's so many unchosen. As I say, for Harry Potter, if you're going to go on with Harry Potter, I wouldn't go the broom. I wouldn't go the night bus. It would be the flying Ford Anglia if I was going to go there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have so many answers on this one. Yeah, I've got the floor. You can shut me down. I don't care. The animated one I was going to go for, but didn't, was going to be the flying carpet from Aladdin.
Good one.
It was either that or Mate Out, and I just needed to just that little bit. Star Wars, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. The one I was going to go for, but not the Millennium Falcon, was the Devastator. The Imperial Star Destroyer that from the beginning of New Hope. It takes 10 seconds to fly out over your head. You get to the cargo bay doors, you're only halfway through. It's the second thing you see in that series of films. It's such an impressively... You're scared as hell of that ship, straight off the bat with it. But it's not. I'm not going to go with that one either. I am going right out of left field, unless you know me and my form of comedy. It's from my favourite comedy of all time. It is Patsy from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. 2 little coconuts with a massive load of cargo on his back, clippity cloppity all around the place. It's Patsy.
I thought about that, but I was like, do I call it the coconuts? Do I call it Patsy? I don't know.
Wow.
The man horse thing is Patsy. It's his name.
Yeah.
So yes, Patsy is my bonus round form of transportation.
I
I figured Dave would get that in there. I knew you loved that movie, Dave.
dig it. I dig it very much. All right, now comes the time in the show where everyone in the chat, you can start flooding it with all your ideas. So they're going to go around and figure out what are the honorable mentions from everybody. What just barely missed making the squad. I think we'll start with Brian up in the corner. Give us a few that just barely missed.
I had a few. Most of them were just kind of backups in case stuff got taken. When you talk about Transformers, I considered Bumblebee. I would have loved to have picked Serenity from Serenity, of course. The Magic Carpet from Aladdin, Slave One. A Tauntaun, because I mean, come on, if a car breaks down, your heater doesn't work. A Tauntaun breaks down, it can keep you warm till help arrives.
They smell worse than me.
The Shaggin' Wagon from Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty much the main ones.
All right, Ryan, since you're just below him, what were a few of your honorable mentions?
Honestly, I didn't have any because I knew no one was going to pick what I had. I didn't even think about having backups, to be honest.
You wanted? Hey, more power to you. That's fantastic.
I mean, technically, I guess if I had to think of anything, technically, I would probably go with, like, the Iron Man suit. It was something to consider, but I wasn't sure if that was a gray area or not.
Yeah.
I thought about it, Ryan. I really did.
And as far as cars go, I mean, since you had to mention Blues Brothers, I mean, the Dodge Monaco
Right here.
from the Blues Brothers itself. I mean, you talk about a car that went through some shit. That's a car that went through some shit.
I had it right here, Ryan, on my list.
Probably went through 105 shit.
Yes.
Not 200.
All right, Dave, what are a few that just barely missed your team?
I mean, apart from the 15 that I just listed before I had my bonus round one, it's a film that I loved and was on the last time I was on here on the film with John from Ronin. I love the car even now to my day of it. It's the Mercedes, I think C130, the one that they have in that to do the heist in De Niro's Ronin. There we go. I knew it would be in there somewhere.
Yeah, he posted that an hour ago.
I love that car. That car is just stuck with me even now. So that of all of them, that's my honorable mention.
Yeah. All right. Oh, excellent choice. Dan, what were a few that just missed out on being on your team?
I'll tell you what, you have no idea how long I mean, look at this.
Just a few. Don't stay here for an hour. Just a couple of them.
You guys can't even see how many I got on here. I'm surprised nobody picked Peter Quill's ship or a Quinjet from the Avengers. Those are just two.
I picked the one that held all the Quinjets. All right, that's
whatever. The Mustang from Drive. I myself love the chase and the French Connection. So Popeye Doyle's car and the French Connection. How about the General Lee or the A-Team van? I mean, all these. There's so many. X-Wing, Darth TIE Fighter. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, but if you're gonna go for the General Lee, you have to talk about the Johnny Knoxville Dukes of Hazzard's film, and no one wants to do that.
Well, it's a car. That's all.
I mean, same thing goes with the van from 18, because then you got to talk about that 18 movie.
That was a good movie.
The 2010 18 is actually a decent film.
That's a good movie.
I'm sorry, Rampage Action.
That deserved a sequel.
All right.
That 18 movie deserved a sequel. That was a shame that it never got a sequel. That was a good movie. But my list goes, how about the Lotus from James Bond? The one, it turned into a submarine.
Pretty good.
That was the Lotus E Spirit. That was.
How about Ferris Bueller's red car that he borrowed?
The Ferrari, yeah.
The 1961 Ferrari GT250.
Yeah, I got it right here. There's so many.
All right.
Tony, you got a few, right?
Yeah, I wanted to. Then I'll go into the chat. So one that I was really tempted to do was the bus from Speed.
Yes. I wish I actually would have thought of that one.
Man, you and buses.
I know, I love buses.
I'm surprised you didn't think of that, Brian. You thought about the dang whatever Space Stone. You didn't think about the bus from Speed?
The runaway train from Runaway Train and the Snowpiercer train, the flying car from Blade Runner, Cornelius' bike from Akira, Doug's car from Boogie Nights, Christine.
I had it right here.
Oh, the Fury.
I had it right here, Christine, right on my list.
Easy Rider bikes, and then finally, I was just the jets from Top Gun.
Yep.
Just any of them.
You got it. You got the jets.
Actually got mentioned again. Again, my wife mentioned that earlier on this evening. Is like, what was it's your fifth chick? Why didn't you go for the planes from Top Gun? I'm like, yeah, cool.
You're gonna have Tom Cruise in that pilot seat, though. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Right, and then,
Maverick. You can have Maverick in the pilot seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you ride with him, you end up dead. Just saying.
I
Yeah, don't get me talking about Top Gun Maverick. I'll tell you all about the movie. I already saw it. So
we're good.
Don't even.
Yeah.
Don't,
No spoilers, please.
No spoiler. Can't spoil it. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I only had 3 on my proverbial list that weren't mentioned. Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds, the Garth Mobile from Wayne's World, and then I don't know if this really counts, but I was saying the closets from the movie About Time, because they go into it, they can just transport to wherever. But that's more their ability to transport time than it is the closets per se. So I don't think that one would have counted. Anything good from the chat room, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely. So Rampage is shouting at us all for not thinking of McFire from Speed Racer. I can tell you one good reason why no one thought McFire is Speed Racer, because it's Speed Racer. Malcolm, when he was talking about Harry Potter, would have gone with Flue Powder.
Oh, damn! Good one, Malcolm. Good one, Malcolm.
Murray, as he said, Eleanor, Wet Nelly, Lotus C61.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm Jr.'s idea, Level Balls from Back to the Future.
Yeah,
they tried that. There's a reason why they're not in stores right now, Malcolm. They suck. They tried
it. Was but I still picked it.
I consider the tank from Tank Girl. Just saying.
Oh, that's a good tank.
I think Malcolm has the most ingenious one. The tornado from Wizard.
I was thinking about the ruby red slippers.
I was
actually when Brian did the Space Star, I said, I'm doing ruby red slippers. And I said, hell with that.
Would have worked. That's all right.
Yeah.
By the way, as a humorist, I do have to say there is one choice that no one has ever said yet, and I'm maybe wrong about that. The 1979 Ford LTD Country Squire from National Lampoon's Vacation.
Got it on my list, Ryan. Got it right here on my list.
I mean, that thing carried a dead body from coast to coast, man. Come on. Give it some credit.
Got it on my list.
Out of curiosity, if I'd have thrown Dumbo in there, would you have allowed it?
Can
Technically,
you
yeah.
ride on Dumbo?
Yeah,
Do they
yeah,
ride on Dumbo?
yeah. The mouse does.
Yeah,
Ah,
no,
Dumbo
no,
will ride it.
Well, Timothy
I have
did
a
it in the
conversation
cartoon,
about
and
it.
then
I
Eva
didn't know
Green
they-
wrote him
But
in the
Dumbo
live action
fly
movie.
himself.
Just, it's an interesting.
I could have went on all night with my list, guys. If I
I
wanted.
mean, in that case, you could have used Baloo as a boat from Jungle Book.
Yeah.
That's genius. We're going next round.
Tony's now going to lose.
What about in
this
Swiss
whole
Army
live stream
Man
after
when he was
we
riding
recorded
Daniel
it?
Radcliffe's
All
dead
these
body?
videos.
Speedboat, yes.
Leave it to Brian to come up with that one.
The suitcases from Joe versus the volcano.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Hate that movie.
The
God.
rat from Castaway.
For some reason.
Oh, yeah,
If you go in wardrobes, then you go for the wardrobes and line the witch in the wardrobe.
I was
You're
wondering
gonna
if there's anything in Matrix, and I was told there's nothing in Matrix that you could use as a means of
Nebuchadnezzar.
But then Nebuchadnezzar. There you go. So I guess I was.
Well, not even the Nebuchadnezzar, but any telephone. from
Yeah, the Matrix itself as a transportation system.
Yeah. How about the yellow bus in Little Miss Sunshine? How about that one? Little van. How about that?
Oh, that's an adorable pick.
I know that would have been a great pick if I
just
had
hate
like
the film.
20 picks.
All right, so what
I
we'll
know
do
you got
is
a list this long, man. It's like fucking Aladdin.
we'll quickly just run
Oh,
down
nice.
what people did from 1 to 5, and then so what will happen is that we'll put this up on the Facebook page as a poll so people can vote for what they want. I know that I'm going to get no votes because I'm an idiot. So let's quickly pull these up. So Dave went first overall, so he went with DeLorean from Back to the Future, the Mini Cooper from the 60s Italian Job, Grease Lightning from Grease, Mesa from Cars, and Elliot Spike from E.T. Brian then went the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters, the Space Stone from the MCU, Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, and the War Rig from Mad Max Fury Road. Then went with USS Enterprise from the Next Generation Star Trek films, the Tumbler from Dark Knight, Optimus Prime from Transformers, the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Mustang from Bullet. Brian went with the Pontiac, the Bandit from Smokey and the Bandit, the Kai from Dragon Ball Z, the Helicarrier from the MCU, Herbie the Love Bug, and Falcor from Neverending Story. Then I went with the Aston Martin DB5 from James Bond, Catbuzz from My Neighbor Totoro. Once again, Totoro, go fuck yourself. The Chromebook from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure / Bogus Journey, Jimmy's Moped from Quadrophenia, and then the Orca from Jaws.
Nice. Nicely done. Should be interesting to see how the vote goes. I have a feeling might swing Brian's way initially, but there might be some dark horses coming after him after the initial vote. Who won last
Good
week?
job, Brian.
I'm pulling
Good
it
job,
up.
Brian.
Give me a second. So I'm curious if you were able to steal someone's pick from someone else, what pick would you choose?
Millennium Falcon.
DeLorean's mine.
Yeah.
I'd take
Your
that
DB5.
Millennium Falcon in a heartbeat.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't
DB5,
know.
I'm hoping might last another one.
I'd say if I had to pick any, I'd probably pick that Space Stone because that was an inspired choice.
Yeah, that was. I may have wanted the
Only
the
Brian would come up with that
Exo one just out of spite, so no one could have it. All right, so from last week, Jesus, it's not. God, I just looked at the date and just forgot that we're in the middle of April already. Dear God.
Yep. The days are just blending into one another now.
I know. All right, so the winner from last week for the greatest songs from movies was Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
That ran
Yeah,
away with Jesus. That was a bit of a runaway. So he chose Circle of Life from Lion King, Bohemian Rhapsody from Wayne's World, Lose Yourself from 8 Mile, Hip to Be Square from American Psycho, and Mad World from Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Please never ask him to DJ your wedding. He'll do a terrible job. But he just likes your music.
Obviously, I'm DJing my own apparently since I'm so musically inclined.
Just get an iPod, it'll be fine.
We shall see how the vote goes this week, you gentlemen. Brian, what you got to plug? Where can we find you?
I don't really have much of anything to plug. You'll find me around here, competing everywhere, showing up on shows like this. If you're on Letterboxd, I'm under Cinemaphile. What am I forgetting? Oh yeah, there's a little Empire Records match coming up. It's gonna be myself, Mark, Aiden Kamier, and now with a special third guest, Rachel Silvestrini. So that is going to
Oh,
be
that's right.
a fun match.
I saw
Yes.
that. Yeah.
That'll be this Friday. I am looking forward to hosting that one for you. And wow, you'll be running the show up behind the scenes, but I'll be the host. And I appreciate you helping me out with that. Then we
And
go
I'll be
right.
asleep.
Yes, because Tony needs to get some sleep. 10 p.m. Central is a bit late for him being over there.
We say
Ryan.
that. I'll still be in the chat.
Ryan, what do you got to plug? Where can we find you on the social media?
Well, social media wise, you can always find me on Instagram and Twitter at Real Ordeal. And of course, there's also the Real Ordeal Entertainment page on Facebook, along with the JT and Big O podcast that I do with my boy JT McGuire. On the Real Ordeal stuff, you can go ahead right now, see my review for Trolls World Tour. And we just have this most recent episode talking Quibi and the Ezra Miller issue going on JT and Big O. And I can give you a sneak peek. We're definitely going to be talking about all this wrestling nonsense coming this Sunday. So if you want to hear our thoughts on all the massive layoffs, may they rest, we'll be doing that and much more.
I didn't hear that.
Wait, I'm sorry,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
not
no,
dead. They just got sacked.
Oh, so many people got sacked. Oh,
No, I didn't
Yeah, I
see
only-
that. I'll have to
I
look
only
that
heard
up.
5.
Send me a
All
link.
right.
Then send me a link, Ryan. Where'd you get all that information from? Because I have no
All right.
idea. Any of
Google it,
that.
it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, Dave, what you got?
Yeah, I run a little podcast called That Made Your List. It's average person, me interviewing average, ordinary people about their favourite films. It's been going for a little while now. It's with all this lockdown stuff, I've kind of fallen off a little bit, but it will come back with Aaron J. He keeps bugging me, so I better record him sooner or later. But yeah, that's available on Apple Podcasts and Podbean on search That Made Your List. It's got a Facebook page, Twitter, it's got Instagram, which is perfect for an audio podcast. Yeah, search everything at That Made Your List.
You make that joke every single time you're on anything.
I know.
Not
It
a
works.
joke.
Great show, but I was on there. I was
Look,
like,
it's printed on the bookcase above me, so I don't have to remember it anymore.
great show, Dave. Great show.
Thank you, Dan. You've been on it as well, yes.
And Dan, where can people find you at?
You can always find me at my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. Also, I write reviews. I'm a film critic here in the beautiful state of Florida when it's not thunderstorm and lightning out. And the website I write for is called Disappointment Media, DISIPPIONTS, no S, MEDIA Media. I just wrote a retrospective about Jackie Robinson today, the Jackie Robinson story, and 42, because today is Jackie Robinson Day in America, where we celebrate the legendary baseball player. Also, I do a show called The Top 5 Weekly, where Brian and Peggy have been on there. Brian's episode should have already aired. I forgot to post it on Monday, but and we're going to be doing some bunch of episodes of classic topics in May. And I do another show. I did a summer series last year, and I'm doing it this year. It's called Bleacher Features, where myself and a guest will talk about a sports movie, break it down from beginning to end. So look forward to that.
Peg?
And then Tony, what can we find coming up in this piece of presentation?
All right, I normally do at the end, but fine. I see you taking over everything. Okay. I'm useless now. So yeah, so future presentation. So Friday we should have something NBA wise. I'm not sure yet. We're still gonna figure that out. Saturday, Sunday, future presentation trivia league, 2 matches up, it's normal, all that jazz. Then same old every day. Should be something interesting either here or somewhere else. Like we got the watch alongs coming up, Rex Manning Appreciation Society over here, those two. Like Mark and my Rachel Trina, that should be awesome. So Friday night, that's going to be there. And yeah, like, subscribe to all the things. Yeah, be here Friday.
Yep, should be fun. So with that, I guess I will say for Tony, for Brian, Dave, and Dan, we'll see you next week where we're drafting movies set in Britain. Should be a fun one.
Ooh.
Have a good week, guys. Wash your hands.